Okay, забирай. She also want to play. Возьми там еще другие. Возьми, давай вместе будем делать. Еще мальчика есть какой-то план. Не хочет тоже делать.
Okay. So today I wanted to learn what we talked yesterday about Rabbi Akiva and his students. So it was quote, but the quote without the context in which it's said. So today I just thought it might be interesting to learn the context in which it's said. And the context is about mitzvah that called Priya Urya, the first mitzvah in the Torah, to create more life, to create children. So the question is, how many children Halacha said we need to have? And this is the topic of Mishnah in Yevamot, Perek 6, Mishnah 6. It says, "Lo yavatel adam mipria uvreya, ela im ken yesh lo banim." So if someone have children already, so he's not obligated to create more children. And the question that Mishnah is discussing is how many children we need to have, and boys or girls, these details. And this is there's discussion here between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. Beit Shammai omrim shnei zcharim, you need to have 2 boys. And then you did this mitzvah, and you can rest. And Beit Hillel omrim zachar u'nekiva. Beit Hillel said you should have 1 boy and 1 girl. שנאמר, זכר ונקבה בראם, because God created humankind, and He created male and female, and I'm explaining, we need to be like God because we created in the image of God. So we also need to create life, and we also need to create male and female. That's Beit Hillel. So the question is, if someone was already married, but this marriage doesn't bring more life, for some reason they don't have kids. So if a man was married and with one woman, he didn't have children for 10 years, so he cannot continue like this. He needs to take another woman and create a life. Yes. So if someone doesn't have kids for several years, so it's not a problem, because sometimes it takes some years and doesn't come immediately. But if it's already 10 years with one person, so the man should take another wife. That's halacha in Mishnah. Girsha muteret linaseh le'acher. So a lot of years before, it was an option to have several wives, as you know. So when we saying that a man should have another wife, it means that he could have second wife, right? But if he chooses to divorce the first wife, and then the first wife is still have the right to get married to another man, even that we have like statistics that this woman doesn't give birth to the child. So the second husband of this wife can live with her for 10 years, and so on. And even, how I say it in English, if the child that was born was dead, so they count 10 years from this moment. So this is like just the introduction. האיש מצווה על פריה ורבייה, אבל לא אישה. So who is obligated to create life? The first saying in Mishnah is that the man is obligated, but not the woman. And the second Tana אומר, said, רבי יוחנן בן ברוק אומר, על שניהם הוא אומר, ויברך אותם אלוהים, ויאמר להם אלוהים פרעו. So the blessing of God to create fruit and to multiply was given to both, to male and to female. So both male and female, they have to create, to give fruit and to multiply, to create kids, right? So this is the Mishnah. It's like the introduction to our theme, and now we will learn the Baraita, which is also the same time of Tanaim, but it's not included in Mishnah for some reason. It's different topic why it's not included. So a Baraita talks about situation if someone, when he was young, he had kids, but later on, when he is not young, when he's older, so the question is if he needs to have more kids, or is it enough that he had kids when he was young and full of life? And that's the topic of discussion here. Rabbi Yehoshua אומר, נשא אדם אישה בילדותו, אישה אישה בזקנותו. Even if person married when he was young, he still have to marry when he is old. And it goes on. היו לו בנים בילדותו. Maybe it's the explanation. If he had children when he was young, יהיו לו בנים בזקנותו. He will still have more children, more kids when he is old. And this statement is learned from the Ecclesiastes, Kohelet. It's the book of King Solomon. It says like a proverb, משל, בבוקר זרע את זרעך ולערב אל תנח ידך. So this is our topic that we discussed about planting plants. So it talks about the workday. So in the morning, when person starting his working day, he is have a lot of power to do a lot of things. But in the evening, person wants to have some rest usually. So it's like the wisdom that says here, at the morning you should plant your seed, and at the evening you should not go to rest, you should continue to plant seeds. Why? Explains Ecclesiastes, because you don't know which seed would be good, the one that you seed in the morning or the one that you seed in the evening, or which is better, both of them might be good. So that's why you need to plant seeds also in the morning and also in the evening. So it's talking about the plants in the simple understanding, but in the Baraita, it's understood like allegory that about the kids. When the person is young, he is creating kids, but usually when people are more old, they start some sickness, they're not so healthy, so people don't want that much to marry and to give birth, so it's more difficult technically and in the health perspective. But Rabbi Yehoshua says that even then you should create more life, because you cannot be sure that the children would be bad. You still need to create more life. That's the Rabbi Yehoshua, but what we are more interested in is the second opinion of Rabbi Akiva. Question. Topic is Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva explains this proverb of King Solomon in a different way. And we will see it right now. Oh, this is very good. רבי עקיבא אומר, למד תורה בילדותו, ללמוד תורה בזקנותו. Rabbi Akiva says, if someone learned the Torah when he was young and strong and had a good memory and good consecration, ילמוד תורה בזקנותו. Even then, he needs to learn more Torah when he is old. This is the first part, and the second part that Rabbi Akiva continues. היו לו תלמידים בילדותו, when the teacher was young and he teaches a lot of students. Even then, when he is old now, he still needs to continue to teach more students. And Rabbi Akiva quotes the same verse from the Ecclesiastes. בבוקר זרע את זרעך, בערב אל תנח ידיך, כי אינך יודע איזה יכשר הזה או זה, ושניהם כחטאים. That you should plant your seed in the morning, and on the evening you should not rest, because you don't know which one would be good, or even it might be that both would be good. So this is the discussion how we understand this proverb, if it's saying about the children like in the plain understanding. I mean, both of them understands it as a proverb and not as simple understanding about the plants, yes. Mm-hmm. But Rabbi Akiva takes this in more metaphoric, not just children, biological children, but students that also sometimes a teacher can approach their students like his children, right? Mm-hmm. And then the story that I sent to you, it goes here, to confirm what Rabbi Akiva said. אמרו 12,000 זוגים תלמידים היו לרבי עקיבא מגבעת עד אנטיפרס, וכולם מתו בפרק אחד, מפני שלא נהגו כבוד זה לזה. So Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 pairs of students, and it says also geographic points, I'm not sure about it, from Gevat ad Antipras. We need to learn where it is, but it's not topic today. In translation, they say in Judea. And Judea, as we know, it's Roman province back there. It's not really our topic. So every student died in one time. Why? Because they were not respecting each other. So it's very short words, and maybe it's like hidden meaning there. Because a lot of students died, so the world was empty. It means empty, there is no scholars. So it looks like Rabbi Akiva was traveling from the first place to another place, and another place was at Darom. Darom, it means south. And he was teaching Torah to them, and there's a list of his like new students: Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Lazar ben Shamoa. So it's not clear if it's like fresh students or maybe they were already famous rabbis, but they became students of Rabbi Akiva because everyone else is dead. I don't know exactly. And this is the list of the students: Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, most likely Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, author of Zohar, as people believe, Rabbi Lazar ben Shamoa, והם העמידו תורה אותה שעה. So this was the people that, translated here, upheld the study of Torah at that time. It means that everyone is dead and there was only one teacher, so the Torah was at risk of that it would be forgotten. But then Rabbi Akiva teach another students, and then Torah continues. So they explained here in the translation that earlier students did not survive, but later disciples were able to transmit the Torah to future generations. So this is like to confirm the point that Rabbi Akiva said before, that even if person had students in his youth, we don't know what the faith, what destiny would be with the students. Maybe they will continue this path, maybe they will forget what they teach, or maybe they even could die. So you need to continue to learn, teach new students. Oh, and there's also another information here. Tana kulam metu mipesach ad atzeret. So first, we said that all the students died on one time, but the question is what time? So another Baraita explains that every student died from Pesach ad Atzeret until Shavuot. Why this information is important, I don't really know. It's interesting question. Amar Rav Chama bar Abba v'yitem Rabbi Yechia bar Avin kulam metu mita ha'ah. And there's an additional saying. Maybe Pesach is understands like when we exit the slavery in the Egypt. So it was a big question how we relate to Roman Empire that was ruled in the Palestine back there. If it's good or if it's bad. So some said, I suggest that it is good because they organize very nice buildings and roads and theaters and big culture, right? So some might see that we are now free, we are part of this big Roman culture. But I suggest that the author of this Gemara came to contradict that we after Pesach the disciples of Rabbi Akiva was dying, so the time that we are now under Roman Empire, it's not a good time, it's a bad time. Just my thought on it. Because maybe we'll learn another part today if we'll have time. We'll see more about it. So we finish here. And the last thing, Amar Rav Chama bar Abba v'yitem Rabbi Yechia bar Avin kulam metu mitara. It's not a Baraita, it's later addition by Rav Chama bar Abba, and some say that's a different rabbi. And they saying that every student they dead was dying by bad death, not a good way to die.
Misunderstand? Yeah, maybe they can play together.
Роза, ты посиди, может быть, с ней поиграйся, если там нужна помощь. Maihi. So, and Gemara doesn't understand what is exactly the bad way to die. Amar Rav Nachman Askara. It's the sickness that's called diphtheria. Okay, so why I just wanted to learn this today, just that we will see this story in the context. So Rabbi Yeshua was telling that if someone had children in his youth, he still needs to remarry and to have more children in his when he is older. But Rabbi Akiva says that if someone teaches Torah when he is young, he still needs to teach more when he is older, and to teach more students when he is older. And this story came only to support his position, his general position. So the main thing is the position of Rabbi Akiva, that you need to learn not only when you're young and you learn in the yeshiva, but also when you're older. And also you need to teach even if you're older and not your mind not as sharp. but also when person is older, he understands things more deeply, so there's also an advantage. And this story just came to support this position. That's what I wanted to show. Maybe you have questions?
So can you say that Hillel understood the thing more in a biological way and Akiva more in a no, Hillel and the other one Akiva in a spiritual way?
Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua said that. So first we have Mishlei by King Solomon that talks about plants. That in the morning you plant in plants, and you should continue to plant them in the evening, because you don't know which plant would be good. So Rabbi Yoshua, it's called Rasha. So he uses this verse as a metaphor, right? As an allegory, that it talks about the kids, that when person are young, they thrive to create family, to give birth. But even then, when person are older, he still needs to create more children, to give more birth and create more life, because we don't know which one would be better. And in context of Rabbi Akiva, we can also understand it in terms of maybe chinuch, how we can educate our children. So when a person is young, so he is not very not calm, and his children also would be chaotic maybe. But when person are older, so when he will raise his kids, so the kids also would be more calm maybe. That's Rabbi Yoshua. And Rabbi Akiva, he uses the same verse from Ecclesiastes to more spiritual topic about teaching Torah, that you need not only to learn Torah when you're young, but also when you're old. And also you need to teach students not only when you're young, but also when you're old. And here is also when a person is younger, so it's better memory, but when a person is older, so it's deeper understanding. So you don't know which is better, good memory or deep understanding. And maybe both are good, so that's why you need to learn all your life, basically, if we can simplify this. So this what Rabbi Akiva said. And this story is to support his saying, because there was once that all of his younger students died for some reason that it's not explained exactly why they died. So there are some discussions about it.
Чай? Чай?
Это мой чай, можно? And also the reason of they died, they was not respecting each other. It's also not clear exactly what is mean. It's mean. So this story is very metaphorical, but here it came to just to support Rabbi Akiva. If we want to learn this story, we might open another midrash, and maybe there is a little different saying. Like, for example, if one story, but several people tells the same story, so they tell it in a different way. So also in our books, you can find the same midrash in several places, and it's in different words, and you can compare and to understand. And people that learn it in academic way, then they even can say which one is earlier, is original, and which one is secondary, and he tells the older story and adds some new details. So it's a big topic to learn.
Interesting.
About children and
So
use. Yes, use. So, you want to add
I
something?
didn't understand.
Yes, it's interesting to learn about children and views about
views.
Yes, and views from those rabbis, Rabbi Akiva and
Rabbi Yoshua. First one was Rabbi Yoshua.
And today I read a story about a couple that was married for 10 years and they had no children. They decided to divorce. They went to a rabbi and he was proposing that they should celebrate their divorce like they celebrated their marriage. So they...
Ты можешь посидеть там, а мы на тебя посмотрим. Вот так.
They celebrated and then the husband told the woman to choose whatever she likes from the household and to take with her to her father's home. And her husband or ex-husband was already drunken and was sleeping. And so she arranged that her husband was carried to her father's home because this was the most precious thing she had. And then
beautiful story.
Together and
she took the bed with
the sleeping man because he was drunken.
Very good story.
Yeah.
Wow.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, very good.
Beautiful story.
Yeah.
Okay. What we can learn? We can learn. Что? Хочешь заканчивать?
Да.
Ну хорошо, можно заканчивать. Ну ты можешь менять.
Да, но я на самом деле очень...
I didn't send you the pictures. So, we finished for today, or you want to learn something more? We can learn more.
So
we will be here sometime if you won't just join us, but we can finish the lesson and we will do some preparation and something like this. Maybe eat and change diapers. Yeah, and
Макот Кавдалет.
Are you recording still? Or?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
You want to say something off the record?
No.
Or you
Yes.
Makot. Maybe we will learn something short. It's a very famous story about Rabbi Akiva. Oh wow!
Wow.
Okay, so the short story about Rabbi Akiva, and we will end with that. It's a very famous story. It's the first topic that we learned. It was Masechet Yevamot, and now it's Masechet Makot. And both stories are not connected to the topics of the Tractate. Shuv Pam Achat Hayu Olim Yerushalayim. So the story is about several rabbis: Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azari, Rabbi Yoshua, the same Rabbi Yoshua, and Rabbi Akiva, 4 rabbis, and they were coming to Jerusalem. But at their days, the temple was already destroyed. So when they approached Har HaTzofim, the Mount Scopus, they how do I say it? Karu. Oh, there is a translation. Rent their garments. So the symbol of mourning, if you just broke your clothes, so you need to make some cut here. So they did it to show that they mourning about the temple that is destroyed. But then, when they approached to Har HaBayit, the Temple Mount, they've seen Shu'al. Shu'al is a fox. שיצא מבית קודשי הקודשים, and the fox was leaving the place where it was the temple and the most sacred room. So everyone התחילו הן בוכים, started to cry, because it's not a honor to this place that wild animals go in here. Rabbi Akiva מצחק, but Rabbi Akiva didn't start to crying, and even he started to laugh, maybe smile, we can translate it different ways. אמרו לו, מפני מה אתה מצחק? So the rabbis asked Rabbi Akiva, why you laughing? Why you smiling? אמר להם, מפני מה אתם בוכים? So instead of answering, he was Jewish, he asked them, why you are crying? אמרו לו, so rabbis explained to them, מקום שכתוב בו ועזר הקרב יומד. So basically, not everyone could enter the temple, even if we're talking about a Jewish nation, right? Only Cohen or maybe Levi could enter this particular room, Kodesh Kodashim. But now it's foxes go in here, so it's really a desecration of the place. How can we not cry? Rhetorical question. אמר להם, לכן אני מצחק. So Rabbi Akiva said, because of this, I smile or laugh. דכתיב, and now it goes the quote from ישעיהו, והעידה לי עדים נאמנים את אוריה הכהן ואת זכריה בן יברכיהו, וקימה עניין אוריה אצל זכריה. אוריה במקדש הראשון, זכריה במקדש שני. So this is דרשה. אלא תלה כתוב נבואתו של זכריה בנבואתו של זכריה. So Rabbi Akiva found in one verse in Tanakh, we will not learn these words now, connection between the prophecy of Zechariah and prophecy of Uriah. And Uriah was in the first temple and Zechariah was at the second temple. So now Rabbi Akiva starts his drasha, and he needs to quote one prophet and the second prophet and to connect them. So it's a little difficult. Be'Uriah Aktiv. So about the first temple, it says, "Lachem biglalchem sadeh Tzion techeresh." It was a prophecy that Tzion, the Temple Mount, would be like a field plowed. It means it would be chaotic. So this is about the first temple. So it's a negative prophecy, right? And we see that it is, it was in real, right? It was realized. But in Zechariah it says positive prophecy, and we don't see it yet. It says, "Od yeshvu zkenim uzkonot berechevot Yerushalayim," that elder people, grandmothers, grandfathers, they will sit in the streets of Jerusalem. But now we see that older people are not sitting here, and it's it was very not calm time of Rabbi Akiva. It was a lot of riots against Roman Empire. עד שלא נתקיימה נבואתו של אוריה, הייתי מתראה שלא תתקיים נבואתו של זכריה. עכשיו, שנתקיימה נבואתו של אוריה בידו, שנבואתו של זכריה מתקיימת. So, if we see that the negative prophecy is realized in practice, so we can be sure that positive prophecy also would be realized, because it's from Nevi'im, from the same Tanakh. And the rest of the rabbis says to them, to him, Akiva nichamtanu, Akiva nichamtanu. So you comforted us, so we can now be calm and not cry anymore. So this is the end of Masechet Makot. Вы пойдете менять.
Влажные салфетки, может быть,
Влажные салфетки я положил в багажник. Там, где и памперс.
Смотри, нам нужны салфетки. Ты будешь что держать? Держи.
So this is very interesting. How can we perceive what is happening? Some people can see that the reality is very bad, but Rabbi Akiva can see that we have hope, we have future. It's very interesting. It reminds me of, some people are very worried about some demonstrations, pro-Palestine demonstrations. So they see it as a bad thing for some reason. They see it as a reason to worry. How you see it?
I'm kind of worried. Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Well,
You're not worried?
I'm worried about the future, but not about the demonstration itself.
It depends on the demonstration, how people behave there. Yeah. So here it's quite calm. At in Berlin it's different.
But we was talking also about something else. It's so the way to speak out. So it's better that people can speak out on the demonstration. I can say for two reasons maybe, because they kind of releasing tension and speaking what they thinking. So they are more calm after it than before. And the second thing, it's more connected to us, that we know what they are thinking, and it's not hidden. So we can be prepared, or we can react, respond for how can we.
Yes, you're right.
So it's the same thing. We can. So the reality is depends how can we look at it, right? If we expecting some bad things to happen, that we see that reality is bad. But if we expecting good things to happen, then the reality is good. So it's very relative.
Yes, that's true.
And also about the law structure and the democracy topic, it's also important to note that the demonstrations are legal, right? So it's hard to look at it as a negative thing. I mean, if we look at it rationally, right?
Yeah, but when I see in London, for example, people are demanding for caliphate. So then they're using democratic structures for a negative
for their own purposes, for their own interest.
Yeah. And this is kind of
it's not stable position.
Yeah, it depends on
fragile
democracy if it's able to deal with this, or if the democracy is not stable enough to deal with it. So
that's also my point. As usual, I forgot to send the link to the group, and I remember it at the end usually. Yes, so the question is what we can do about it, and can we do something? So this is the main question. What is your suggestions?
What we should do?
What? Because you said that you are also worried.
Yes. What can we do? It's a good question.
And I agree with you about the democracy, that it's a system that works. So if people acting within the laws of the system, so they making what is legal, what is right,
Yeah.
if I can say.
Mhm.
So if the existing order agrees with it, so this is going to be new order, most likely, we can say. Yes, if we can theorize what is going to happen next.
What will happen? Mhm.
So if we are worried about it, so maybe we are not interested in this new order, but the question is what we can do.
So I'm not interested in a caliphate.
Yes. But what can we do? What can we do about it? And for example, some people see this also big topic demonstration. They can see some anti-Semitism in these demonstrations. So it's also very big topic. I don't know if we need to start this topic today about anti-Semitism. And some people, for some reason, think that we need to fight against anti-Semitism, which is sounds really strange for me.
Why?
Because it's like double negative. So there are Semites, some people, and someone are against them.
And you have to be against the one who is against.
Yes, so it's kind of weird way. So we need to act more simple way. So we need to fight. If we want to fight, we can fight for the Semitism.
For the Jews.
For the Jews, yes. So this would be a more healthy, I don't know. In Russian we say повестка дня.
Proactive.
Yes, like the our political program. I don't know.
Yeah. I understand.
So it's from one hand, it's a good thing that if there is one demonstration pro-Palestine, so there is a democracy, and we can do a demonstration pro-Israel, so it's okay. It is good, yes. But it's kind of, if we reacting to the first demonstration, so we are kind of in a weak position, right?
Yeah,
so we don't have our...
We are reacting.
Yes.
We are not acting.
Oh,
yes.
That's my point.
Yeah, it's true.
So it means we agree that they are strong, but we need to defend ourselves. But we would not be strong with this politics, if I can say. So we need to reinforce ourselves, and then after we're strong, so the other people, that's what I was talking on Shabbat maybe also, yes. The other people would consider our point of view also. So this is a big topic in a short words. Yes.
Yeah, I understand what you say. So we would be in lack of a content. We would not have any positive content.
Oh,
yes.
And this is very big problem that we see in Germany. The first movie that we was watching, it was about also this topic. It's called Mazel Tov Cocktail.
I know this film. I was not that long.
You've seen this film?
I've seen it, yes.
So it's about this similar problematic because...
it's about philosemitism, yes? I remember.
I don't know this word.
So it's the opposite of anti-Semitism is philosemitism. It's another...
I didn't hear this.
No?
Philosemitism. I will write it down.
So both anti-Semitism and philosemitism, and so it was describing different situations this guy was in. Yeah.
Dmitry.
Yeah.
Russian Jew.
Yeah. And if I remember right, his teacher, a woman, was very philosemitism.
It's just new term for me, so I'm not...
So she was always...
English. Philosemitism. philo-Semitism, also called Judeophilia, love or admiration of Jews and Judaism. Such attitudes can be found in Western cultures across the centuries, determination, blah, blah, blah. I didn't heard this term before, so it's good that we meet today. Вы поменяли?
Да.
Ну, отлично. Теперь будете кушать? Вам дать прикрыться чем-то? Опа. So the main hero of the movie, Dmitry, he was in problem. He didn't want to be connected to Judaism, to Jewish in any way, because Judaism is associated to him with black and white movies and the history of Holocaust and the Second World War. So also it's something negative things and not something positive. And I remember the question that he said, why everyone wants to talk about Holocaust and why no one wants to talk about gefilte fish? That was his question. So this is a very big question. And also, so in this movie, they saying that if someone wants to support Jewish, so they say, yes, we remember the tragedy of your people and we feel bad for you. So this is the way. So it's, if we think of it logical, so it's a weird way to support people that live in now, and it was 50 years before, a lot of years before. So how it's connected to today's reality? So it's like a social problem that creators of this movie are pointing in, that Judaism is associated with very hardly with the death and with the Beit HaKvarot cemetery. So this is also a problem that I need to work on it. And it reminds me, it's like a passive approach, that we have something in the past and we are remembering it, but we don't have something now, today, that is worth to talk about, like that story that everyone is talking about, the story of Holocaust. So it reminds me that today's topic, that there is an anti-Semitism, but there's not much Semitism to talk about. So that's why there is big anti-Semitism and people are reacting to it and responding. I've seen recently even term the specialist of anti-Semitism, something like this.
Who is a specialist?
I don't remember. It just was a new term for me. Like, for example, there's a specialist in nutrition and there's a specialist in anti-Semitism.
Okay.
Just it's a new term for me also.
Yeah, there's a big research about anti-Semitism.
Yes,
at university.
and also in Fürth it was this topic also.
Yeah.
А я не знаю, на самом деле, оно все автоматически. Do you know how to turn off the lights? Maybe there. Okay, so I'm finishing the video. Okay. Oh. You can open these things. There. This button. On there. No, there. This, yes. Or right button or left button. One of them should go up. No?
Oh, okay.
Okay, never mind.
Yes.
So that's all for today. The next meeting is at Monday at 7 p.m. German time. Thanks for everyone, and we'll be in